this up here because this takes an extra second to go. It's going to show us.
Works too.
Yep, absolutely.
We don't ever want to do that mistake again, do we?
No.
Yeah, we're live, right?
We are almost ready to be live. Let's going to see in 1 second. We are not live yet on our. Here we go. We're going to be live now. Getting ready for the Intro to Crypto podcast. Live with you in just about one more minute. Where are we?
We're going to be an intro podcast a year from now, 2 years from now.
No, it's going to
3
be.
years from now.
It's going to be for sure a much bigger global scale. All right, let me get Instagram ready for you guys over here. All right. We are ready to rock and roll.
Volume, sound.
Let's make sure our volume is up.
For sure.
Volume is on, buddy.
All
right.
Just kidding.
Welcome to the Intro to Crypto podcast. It's Friday, Mike. It's Friday.
Thank God it's Friday.
Thank God it's Friday. So, how was your week this week, by the way?
Very nice. Nice short week with the holiday on Monday. It still seemed like a relatively long week.
It was a very busy week. A lot of things happening. So we've got a lot to talk about today. The Intro to Crypto podcast. Remember, everything we talk about is always not financial advice. All right. You got to do your research. Our job is to help and teach you and educate you as much as we can, building relationships with you one at a time. If you're out there and you're listening, you have questions, please let us know. And we'll do the best we can to answer those questions. David Lamel, Michael Cristoforo, your Intro to Crypto. We are live on all social media platforms. It is Friday. It is 5:30 p.m. And we want to appreciate your time in advance. So, Mike, a couple things we can talk about over here. One, we just had a big week happening in crypto in Las Vegas.
Yes, sir.
We had the Bitcoin conference and we also had the XRP conference. XRP is happening now. Is that correct?
Correct.
And Bitcoin was a few days ago.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Correct.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yep.
Some major players were at this conference, which was very exciting. And for the Bitcoin community, they got to see Vice President JD Vance. Yep. They also got to see the brothers,
Trump's kids,
Don and Eric.
Yes. Yeah.
Which was also pretty big, and many other people.
And if you ever want to take a look at those videos, I said to Dave, I said we need to be able to get these clips on these things because it would make it a lot better. I think if we could just do it, but if you're seeing that we can't, you can literally go to YouTube actually and just plug that in if you want to see some of the speeches that were given on some of those panels that were really,
That's
really good.
A great idea. Go to YouTube and Google. Go to YouTube and type in. No Google. Go to YouTube and type in Bitcoin Convention Speakers
2025
or XRP Convention Las Vegas 2025. We know at the XRP convention, which is going on now, they had Brad Garlinghouse for sure and David Schwartz and many other great people that were there. Not to mention all the people that we follow on YouTube, such as Mikkel and many other people that came out. Mikkel came out and was super pumped about the Saudi prince investing $121 million in XRP. They're going to do something pretty big. Do you know the details?
I saw that video, but I can't really give you much more detail other than that. But yeah, there's definitely
a lot happening in the world with XRP. So definitely important to check out. We wanted to cover something very important to kind of let you know what's been happening since 2018. There is a coin out there called Propy. Michael actually really taught me more about this, and I'm kind of learning about it. Propy is a crypto coin that is involved in real estate, helping buyers buy property through cryptocurrency. Now, this is something that definitely came out a while ago. People started asking about this, and I remember hearing first about, can you buy a house with using crypto? And I said, I don't think so. I have no idea what's going on with that. But apparently, there are 3 states You can buy property in with crypto, which is pretty amazing.
And that's, this is just the beginning. We call this, RWA, real world assets. This is going to be the merger of what you're going to see. You're going to see more and more of the ability to buy real estate, with tokens and so forth like that. And right now, only 3 states, but there's going to be a lot more to come. This is the future that we're looking at. This is an early stage. And that's why I said to Dave, we're both in real estate. Why don't we talk a little bit about Propy? Because Propy is going to be an example of how our jobs are going to change and our lives are going to change.
It is going to be one of the biggest things that happens in cryptocurrency with the future of real estate and crypto. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with our jobs and how things work out, and attorneys in the process. Got some bullet points over here to kind of tell you what Propy is. So 10 things to know about Propy, the future of real estate on the blockchain. And Mike's going to kind of chime in over here because he's very knowledgeable in this category. Real estate meets blockchain. Propy is a blockchain-powered real estate platform that allows users to buy, sell, and record ownership of property digitally. It's pretty amazing stuff. So I'm guessing there won't be any more stacks of papers that are being signed, and you're probably going to get some kind of, at the attorney's office, like a big packet with all the papers you've signed and go to the bank.
That is correct. Once it's on the blockchain, everything for that real estate transaction is on the blockchain. So when I started following Propy 4 or 5 years ago, one of the things that they were talking about was just the title insurance. You have to pay title insurance. It's usually about $3.50 per $1,000, somewhere in that range.
Danny's watching, by the way. He's also.
Oh, cool. Hey, Dan. So $3.50. So on a $300,000 mortgage, you're looking at over $1,000, $1,100, $1,200 worth of fees just for that. When it goes on the blockchain, you're talking pennies versus 1,000 plus.
It's amazing, Michael, when you're saying about the amount of money that how much it costs now versus how much it'll cost in a few years, so that buyers will have more actual pocket money to buy property. It's going to cost you less to make real estate transactions, and they're going to happen much faster. Smart contracts for real estate transactions. It uses Ethereum-based smart contracts to automate title, escrow, and payment process, reducing time, cost, and human error. So many things can be automated and happening. Digital signatures, which they started doing digital signatures a little bit during COVID. That was kind of happening, and then it kind of cooled off. I mean, we're doing things people could do on the computer in some offices. Some attorneys were doing it, some weren't. But that's going to change tremendously. You have this is also really cool. NFT home ownership.
Yeah, let's talk about what an NFT is, because a lot of people don't know. NFT stands for non-fungible token. So it started off 4 years ago. Maybe they started talking about NFTs, and then there was all this artwork that you can buy online, and it was going for excessive amounts of money, and then that market collapsed because it was new and everybody was buying these NFTs for all these various things. Well, the reality is that the NFTs are going to be incredibly valuable. For example, you're going to be able to turn around and tokenize, and a house is going to be on there. They're talking about being able to put an NFT on every concert ticket. Every concert ticket will be a non-fungible token. So you can actually have memento that would be on that. You can buy it and sell it.
What's memento?
What's a memento?
Yeah.
It's something that, you have for perpetuity. It never ends.
You mean like a nice memory?
And memory. Exactly right. But it will be digital. It will be out there. And now here's something else, just an aside on NFTs.
Yes.
They're talking about being able to, when you buy or sell a ticket, sometimes a ticket will go through 4, 5, 6 times with all these resellers.
Yes.
When the NFTs are set up in the concert purposes, every time that gets resold, an extra piece can go back to the actual artist. So the artist would literally make more money as it's going through. So I mean,
That's right. That's very interesting and also pretty cool for the artist. The fact that if it gets upsold continuously, they get a piece of the action. I like that. That's
yeah.
pretty cool.
I mean, so these are some examples of what's going to happen with NFTs. So it's not just real estate, but I mean, real estate is just one example.
Property enables home titles to be minted as NFTs, giving buyers instant blockchain verified proof of ownership. You mentioned before, Mike, we started talking today that you might be able to own a piece of a home.
Right.
So like maybe a handful of people get together and own a piece of a home.
Yep.
Like today, if you're buying a property, you can buy a house with I think up to 3 people on a mortgage, right? You might end up buying investment properties now. It could be in blocks on a blockchain with several people where you have pieces of that NFT in the ownership of the property.
Absolutely.
That's pretty cool stuff.
And take that off. I mean, right now we're sort of doing that in the commercial world right now, because a commercial, if you don't have an investor that wants to spend $100 million on a whole complex, whatever they want to buy, whether it's a shopping mall or whether it's
several investors involved.
You can have several investors involved, and they could all be put into an NFT, and they could all be buying a percentage of that NFT.
You know, while we're sitting here watching and doing this whole thing here, TikTok is also involved. I don't know if you remember that, because there's so many platforms here, and TikTok has a lot of investors out there, which is wild, from all over the world. And because it's so global, and YouTube, I'll say as well, you're going to see that more people are not only listening to things we're doing, but they're also experienced with things we're talking about over here too. In different parts of the world, what's going to be happening. You could own property, let's say in Italy, right, with an NFT. How cool is that? And you don't have to even be there. You can buy things without even seeing the properties. All right,
that's the future.
The future. Global property access. Buyers can purchase real estate in multiple countries. I was just saying that. Without traditional international red tape, using crypto or fiat. Deed recording on chain. Property deeds are securely stored on the blockchain, reducing fraud and inefficiencies in traditional county record systems. How often is it when an attorney goes to the records of a property and they're trying to find certain things or find things in old documents that are not able to find? This is going to actually clean all that up and make it, the town hall will be completely changed in every town. It'll be all on the blockchain.
It's almost like a library today. What's the purpose of the library in town? Really, I mean, any book that you want, you can pretty much buy it through Amazon, or you can potentially read it online.
I really believe the library system in schools today really is more for the kids to learn and see what is, how history has been done, and to get kids to walk into a place and pick a book up and get excited. That's why I think there's libraries still in towns and in schools. I don't think it's because there are that many people coming to the library to really read books. I really think it's more of the younger crowd. I could be wrong. You guys let me know what you think. I don't know that libraries are filled with, you know, an age group of between, let's say, 15 and 50 of people in that group. I think that the people are either really much older or much younger in the library today. What would you think differently?
No, I don't argue with you. I mean, I remember when I went to college, I spent a lot of time in the library.
I did too, but for different reasons. My dad taught me that in the library is a good place to meet girls. And he was right. He said, don't go to the bars, go to the library to meet girls, because then you'll find a girl who's smart, and it became a big thing. And we're getting sidetracked over here.
Yeah,
sorry,
a little bit.
All right, going to the next one over here. Deed recording on chain. Property deeds are securely stored on the blockchain, reducing fraud. I read this one here. Reducing fraud and inefficiencies in traditional county record systems. Instant closings. With smart contracts, some real estate transactions can close in minutes, no third-party delays.
Yeah, if they don't need financing, then that's going to be the big thing. I mean, but where I'm going to see the world change in my world is as this stuff picks up, there's going to be financing companies that come up that only do the NFTs.
Well, first of all, you're going to have your money on coin, because you're probably not going to have it in the bank in the future, or a lot of the money. You may have a lot of saved money in your crypto. And then when you go to buy property, it would be much easier for you as the lender to find the money because it's right there, versus where did it come from, how did it get there, et cetera, et cetera. It's going to have a history to it. You know, the history is much easier.
But my point is you're not going to really need the mortgage process is by the time this happens is going to be so different than where we are today. I can't even fathom it, to be honest with
I
you.
would have to agree with you. Crypto to property transactions. Property makes it easy for crypto holders to directly purchase real estate, with crypto solving a huge problem for digital investors. Again, goes over the digital investor, where the money's coming from, buying a property, owning pieces of property, can be in different countries, much easier process than it is today. And it's going to be interesting what happens with our jobs and how that works in the future. Data transparency, all transaction history, buyer and seller info, and escrow activities can be viewed on chain, boosting trust and transparency.
And when this happens, I mean, all the representation for all the title companies and the attorneys and all that kind of stuff, they're going to all pretty much have to drop their fees as well, because you're not going to have there's not going to be any recording running to town hall to record documents.
Right.
It's going to change the whole entire.
Your attorney
business
fees will
when
be
this comes.
significantly less, and attorneys might get out of the business. No, I'm kidding. I don't know. It's going to happen. It'll be interesting how attorneys do things, though.
It's
there
gonna
might, or
be
they,
different.
or they may have more laws in place that they have to kind of check into and protect and yada yada as well.
I've spoken to many attorneys that may not be as crypto savvy as we are,
Yes.
but they see some handwriting on the walls and some
Right.
concern as well.
As a mortgage broker, Mike, would you say that's important for you to really kind of understand what crypto is today and getting out there and making sure that you're one of the first people to know about it so you can be involved in the future of cryptocurrency and mortgages, right? I mean,
Or to invest in it so that actually you're ahead of the curve. In this respect, for me,
absolutely.
this puts me ahead, because if a token like an XRP actually is used with Proppy or alongside Proppy or whatever,
You're going to know the language.
You want to, well, it's not just knowing the language, but I expect an appreciation of tokens, so I would actually be able to offset potentially a loss that you might have on your income, just like you would have potentially. So it's just a diversifying your income, through these blockchains.
Again, we're talking about something called Proppy. It's the letter PRO on your digital assets when you're looking it up. You can Google PRO, Proppy, PROPY as well, to kind of read a little more about it. And not all the platforms are carrying Proppy. I know Coinbase has it. Maybe crypto.com. Not sure. Again, you have to kind of do your research. And remember, all this is not financial advice. You want to do
It's
your
on
research.
Google, but I mean, you can Google, just say, how do I buy Proppy?
Yes. And
This is the whole thing about learning how to do things. It's not just us here talking, it's also learning how to
absolutely.
fish yourself.
Yeah.
And to fish yourself is just literally Googling and saying, how can I buy Proppy? And it will tell you which exchange has it. That's the easiest way. You certainly don't need to go that way, but to keep it simple, that is the way
I like it.
to do it.
Do the research, learn as much as you can, be prepared for the future because it's happening right around you. The last thing, I got two more things. Agents and brokers integrations. Proppy empowers real estate professionals to digitally handle contracts and disclosures. I like that. While earning on chain reputation and referrals. We as realtors are going to have to be very knowledgeable in this category of cryptocurrency and digital assets. And there's so many realtors that are probably going to leave the business because it's just way above their head and they don't want to get involved in it. Just like you out there, anybody who has not been involved in crypto or fears it, you need to start learning a little about it. That includes my parents. I sat down and tried to talk to my father about it, and he just kind of gave me the, yeah, no, this isn't happening yet.
Yeah.
And we had this discussion.
Well, what did your father say? If you don't mind me saying real quick, he said, I don't understand it, so I wouldn't invest in it.
He said, I don't understand it. It's all not safe. I wouldn't invest in it. You're taking chances, blah, blah, blah. I have friends who and you know what?
Right.
I can respect the his feelings and thoughts and worries and his concerns. Sure. It's like the old guard, yep. Right? And the new guard is already in place and happening. And when you try to sometimes explain something, I mean, he's in his late 70s.
Well,
So to be fair to him, it's something he may not even have a chance to really get to know too much about, right?
Totally.
In the next 10 years, it's going to, I mean, he'll be around for the next 10 years, knock on wood, right? But the point is that he may not understand it enough to even have to worry about this kind of stuff.
But like I said to you when you mentioned that to me, I said he uses a cell phone but doesn't know how a cell phone works.
Right.
So why is he investing in using a cell phone when he doesn't know how it works? It's same
He knows
thing.
how to work it for what he needs it for, but that's about as far as he takes it.
But that's a protocol.
Yes.
And that's what I was trying to get at with you the other day that I'm just mentioning again was
Yes.
that, these are protocols that you are investing in. And because of that, I said, I don't understand all the protocols and how things work. I have a general idea how it is, just like I have a general idea how to pick up my phone and be able to have it work. But I have no idea. I couldn't tell you, how does this phone communicate with the tower that then goes to the landline
Right.
and it never gets disconnected? I could talk on this when I drive from Connecticut to California and I probably will never even get dropped. Or if I do, maybe a couple of times.
Right.
But you get my point. It's
Okay.
understanding.
Number 10, positioned to lead Web3 real estate. As tokenized assets rise, Proppy is building the rails for Web3 real estate markets. NFT mortgages, DAO, managed properties, and more. And by the way, the 3 states that you can actually buy property in the United States using Proppy, using your digital assets, include Colorado, Arizona, and Florida. Those are your 3 states.
So far.
And it's interesting that 3 different states that they're different. And I think because of the amount of people moving in and out of these states or moving into these states, I'm just guessing is why these 3 states are involved. I can see Florida, 1,200 people a day moving to Florida. I can see Arizona. You have your largest amount of retirees between Florida and Arizona. And Colorado is a really huge place that people have moved to over the last 10 years with the whole marijuana, legalization, and not to mention being a beautiful state and everything it has to offer.
Just to go show you how early we are. Look that's only 3 states out of 50.
Right.
So how early are we for this whole change that's going on in crypto?
The current price for property is $1.04 as of today. And regarding property, and Michael, you can talk a little more about this, how there is the difference between property and traditional real estate on a closing timeline.
We pretty much went through that. I sort of pulled over to this one already.
Okay, cool.
So we sort of went through a lot of that stuff, but basically, blockchain would be no different than you buying crypto. It could literally be 3 to 5 seconds. You can actually own that NFT. Theoretically, if you had the cash to be able to buy something.
Could you imagine going to a closing instead of sitting an hour and a half typing things up? You walk in 5 minutes, boom, boom. You might not be walking in anymore. You might be doing it from wherever you are, closing from, people could close, across states and not be in place, but it's a much more integrated system with all these different attorneys and yada, 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 where in the future, it's going to be much easier and much faster. For sure. Let's see. We talk about XRP a lot in this show. And the reason why is probably because of me. I love XRP. I know you look at it.
So do I.
So do you do. So do you.
I do
so
enjoy
do you.
it. I do enjoy it. What's in that drink, by the way?
It's water. Yeah, right. It's vodka. Just a little water as I'm talking so much. So just want to touch on XRP again with you guys. The greatest transfer of wealth in the history of the world. Global bank adoption. Over 100 financial institutions as of today and banks are integrating RippleNet for real-time settlement using XRP. Did you know? Did you know that cross-border payments revolution, XRP eliminates the need for pre-funded Nostro accounts, unlocking trillions in dormant capital around the globe?
We have talked about this before. I'll just mention it again. What's a Nostro Vostro? The banks have to hold billions and billions of dollars in different currencies so they can allow you to move money from one area of the world to the other. So You have to own tons of Chinese yuan and US dollars. They have to hold them both
Is it
to be able to guarantee.
Is that won or yen? Which one's yen?
That's in Japan.
Japan.
Yeah.
Japan's yen.
So all of that would be disappearing, which would save the banks billions, if not trillions of dollars. And that's
Crazy.
basically what we're talking about.
You have speed and scale. Settles transactions in 3 to 5 seconds, handling 1,500 plus TPS
Transactions per second.
transactions per second with scalability toward Visa level throughput.
We basically talked about that last week. I think we were talking about the
Yes.
transactions per second. Just real quick, I want to say, we had the Bitcoin talking earlier this week and the XRP convention going on late this week. And Dave and I were just talking before it began. We were talking about Bitcoin. To do a transaction, let's say of $1,000, it might cost you $30 to move that Bitcoin, and it might take an hour.
Or $100 might cost you $2.40.
Yeah, Dave knows. Dave knows. Yeah, versus XRP,
Which costs literally
less than a penny.
Yeah.
Less than a penny. So which one is going to be the one that's going to move money around the world, in our opinion?
I'm going to tell you why Michael and I are talking about this, because I said, you know what? I never bought Bitcoin before. And again, you don't have to own a whole coin of any kind. You can buy pieces. So I said, you know what? I want to buy Bitcoin for the first time. I'm going to buy $100 worth of Bitcoin. And it cost me that $100. It cost me $2.40 to buy the Bitcoin. Okay. So it was kind of wild. I mean, it just the fact it cost $2.40. When I bought XRP, it cost me, I think, I don't know, maybe 5 cents or 3 cents to buy the XRP.
Mm-hmm.
It was way different.
Yeah, I wouldn't even be surprised if it's cheaper than that.
But I just said, you know what? Let me just buy a little piece of the action just to say I have a little Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Maybe you want to do the same. They say that Bitcoin, right, it's the grandfather, the godfather of crypto. And they're talking about over the next few years, within 10 years or less, they're thinking that basically they're talking numbers between $150,000 to $200,000 per share at Bitcoin, which is great. I want to see it go to the moon, because if it carries to the moon, all it does is bring everything else along with it, right?
Yeah.
Let's see. Ultra low fees in fractions of a cent, making it a deal for high volume institutions, institutional transfers, and even micro payments in the future. Again, XRP cost.
Yeah.
ISO 20022
We've been talking about that.
Michael's the expert over there.
I've been
on this.
talking about that over and over and over. I'll mention it again quickly. All the banks have to be ISO compliant by November of this year. So this downturn that we're seeing in crypto, I expect that when all the banks are doing it and all the banks are using it by the fall, I would expect prices to be much higher. Say nothing about all the other things that we see behind it with the ETFs coming and so forth. It's going to also hammer it higher.
Yes. XRP is positioned. So ISO 20022 compliance. XRP is positioned within the new global financial messaging standard, aligning with central banks and CBDCs.
Yeah, central bank digital currencies.
Number 6, Ripple Liquidity Hub. Ripple is building on demand liquidity infrastructure for institutions. We got a lot of people coming here and commenting. For institutions, using XRP as the bridge asset between fiat and crypto. Actually, these are on Kick. Got some comments on Kick over here. Hey, Kick, how you guys doing? Hello, holla. We got some. That's pretty cool.
Saying stop reading is getting a little dry.
We got Zed73 says, "Hola, what's up, Zed?" Very cool stuff. Thank you for reaching out, Zed. And again, if any of you guys out there have questions and have comments, love to hear from you. We're on every platform. We're on, let's see, obviously we're on Kick. We are on, TikTok. We are on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We are on LinkedIn. We're on,
That's your department.
There's so many, we're on all these different websites. We love getting feedback from you guys. You're watching and listening. Thank you so much. Zed and the Kick community. Please continue to watch it. If you have any questions or if you're involved in crypto, let us know. Let us know you're learning and let us know that you like what we're talking about. Let's see.
You were down.
I apologize. We are over, am I here on RWAs? Tokenization of real world assets, RWAs. Ripple is targeting tokenization assets, real estate, stocks, currency is all moving instantly on the XRP ledger. We see it happening that the ETFs, Ripple XRP just made it now as an ETF. Didn't have that before.
Yeah, we're still waiting for the spot ETF. I mean, that's coming, but there's a lot of ETFs that we're expecting in the coming weeks.
Very cool. Regulatory process. XRP's clarity from the SEC lawsuit positions it ahead of other altcoins, giving institutions confidence to adopt. The greatest transfer of wealth is happening now. It's happening here, and you definitely want to be involved in it. So
I think we pretty much hit this, if you don't mind.
Yeah,
I just don't want to bore them.
yes,
But I want to just finish it up by saying one thing. I had a family friend call me yesterday,
yes,
and her question to me was, where can I buy XRP? And she mentioned Coinbase. I said, Coinbase is fine.
Yeah.
She said, I need a wallet though. I said, you don't need a wallet. I said, Coinbase has a wallet. I said, if you're only looking to buy $500, $1,000 worth, not a big deal. If you're talking about tens of thousands of dollars and you're worried about an exchange going down, like we've seen in the past, over the past 5 years, we have had several of them that have failed. Yep. So, in that situation, you can get yourself a Ledger wallet or a decent wallet to be able to put stuff into there. But at this point in time, if you're talking about a small investment, $500,000 worth of stuff, I said, get the crypto now. Leave it on
like Uphold or Coinbase. Or
Yep. Just get it, buy it, leave it there. Don't worry too much about it.
Focus on getting involved in buying bits and pieces. I tell people all the time, it's not about how many pieces you need to have. It's about buying it with extra money you have. That's not something. It's a major money you need to save today, to have it in your pocket to pay your bills or to eat. You want to buy. It's maybe reducing how many cups of coffee you buy or how many bars of chocolate you buy or whatever you're doing that you do on a regular basis that's wasting money, and saving a little bit and put it towards your crypto. Invest it as much as you can afford to quote unquote lose in it. We look at crypto as something that's a major player for the future of your and our lives, and it's changing and it's happening. And over the next couple of years, if you buy the right coins, there's a lot of coins out there that are going to make a major boost based on their functionality,
their usefulness.
Yeah. And we've talked quite a bit about that. We'll talk more about that again on Monday. It is Friday. I hope you guys have an amazing weekend. Mike, have a great weekend. Hopefully we get some nice weather. The weather's starting to change. I thought it was supposed to rain today or rain tomorrow. Maybe it's going to be sunny this weekend. Maybe you get a little color. We can go get some sun. It'd be nice to enjoy a little bit outside.
I could use more.
Have a wonderful weekend. We thank you so much for being a part of our show every week, and we will see you next week. Thank you so much, everybody.
Bye.
All right, I'm going to end the stream here.